Every team, every topic, everywhere. This is Believe.
Welcome everybody to the Hockey Think Tank podcast, brought to you by the hockeythinktank.com, a website for all players, parents, and coaches to go to get a little bit of education and a little bit of inspiration regarding the greatest game on the planet. What an episode we have for you guys here today. We are bringing on the assistant coach of the University of Nevada, Las Vegas, UNLV Rebels, Nick Robone, one of the top teams in ACHA Division I hockey. And what a great guy. What a great coach. I went out there and worked with their group the last 2 years in the fall. They were the runners-up in the national championship last year and got a chance to win a national championship this year. I believe they are top 5 in the country as we speak. This was an awesome conversation. Before we do get over to Nick, though, I know another awesome guy in a one, Jeffrey Lactigo, Jehu Lavecchio. Vex, Lactigo Lavecchio, what's shaking today?
Ooh, I like the sound of that.
Lactigo Lavecchio.
Hey, and I like the sound of that, and I freaking love Lactigo, bro. I honestly, absolutely love it. If you guys haven't listened to our episode with Eric Fair, you got to listen to that one. He's an unbelievable guy. He's one of the owners of Lactigo. I bathe in this stuff. I live in it. I sleep in it. I don't, but basically I should. Unbelievable. And it was really cool. I have so many people listening to the podcast reaching out to me saying that they got it for their players, their teams. Western Michigan called me on a Wednesday and they're like, hey, we're out of Lactigo. Can you please get us an overnight order for the weekend? The guys don't want to play without it. Like, so many D1 teams are ordering it for their team. So check out Lactigo, lactigo.com. Use my discount code GMBM. What's up? But anyways, Toph, if you guys didn't notice, if you guys haven't realized this,
that in the
you got me going. You got me going. Guys, if you don't notice, if there's any time in the beginning when Toph is doing his welcome, if he starts like breaking down and you hear like little laughs, it's because I'm doing something stupid to try and make him laugh. We're on year 6, episode 300 something. And every single episode, I think all 6 years, when he's doing that, I'm trying to make him laugh. So if you hear that, know that I'm being an idiot. And you can watch these on YouTube and see me doing stuff like that and see Toph's beautiful face. But Toph, I'm doing great. I'm glad you asked. I've already worked with 80 athletes this morning. Not a big deal. And, just loving life, baby. Loving life. Excited. Holiday season going on. Thanksgiving. First Thanksgiving as a dad just happened. So that was, really cool. Basically, this was my Thanksgiving. Everyone talked like this. No one wake the baby. So that was basically my whole Thanksgiving. How was yours?
It was good, man. I was out in Portland, as you know, visiting his sister and their family. And so I have unbelievable in-laws. And so it's always good to get to see them. And ate probably a little bit way too much. That does not make any sense, but ate way too much.
Yep.
But got some quality time with the little nephews. I do not have boys in this house, so it's always fun to hang out with the nephews. Got to see my sister's 4 boys as well when we got back, which was fun. But yeah, man, nothing to complain about. The Hockey Think Tank is rolling. We have some really cool things in the next month. So end of December, early January that we're going to be rolling out, which I can't talk about yet, but it's going to be sick. But yeah, man, just grinding, just absolutely grinding, having a great time.
Love that. And I don't really want to start the podcast with this, but did you see what happened in New York with another player who passed away?
No, what happened?
I'm pretty sure a 17-year-old. I was told he was playing in a charity game for his teammate who just passed away, and he had some kind of heart attack on the ice or something, and I think he died on the ice in a game for his teammate who had just passed away. Yeah.
Oh man,
crazy, bro. Hockey world's just getting ripped to shreds right now. So with Thanksgiving just happening, just make sure players listening, hug your moms and dads and coaches, every day. You never know. You never know what could happen. That's why you got to love every day. You got to enjoy every day. You got to have fun every single day. Tell your teammates, tell your parents, tell your family, tell everybody you love them. You have to live that way.
Yeah. I know. I didn't hear about that. That's
Yeah.
That's awful. Where in New York was it? Do you know?
I think it was like where I go up and we've done those camps. I think it was like
Oh, in Long Island.
Massapequa, yeah, Long Island area. Yeah, man. Just so if anybody's got it more information or if there's anything we can do to help the family, please pass it on to me at my Instagram at Jeff Lavecchio or send Toph's Hockey Think Tank. Go to the website, send us an email if there's any way we can help.
Yeah.
I'd love to.
Yeah, any way we can help for sure. And actually, it's interesting you say that because on the podcast that we do with Nick here, so he was at the concert back when everybody probably knows this, but he was at the concert when the shooter, put fire into the crowd there and killed and injured a lot of people. And then, Vegas Strong happened, and it was the first year that the Golden Knights were there. And Nick was actually one of the concert goers that got shot. And we talked about it on the podcast. It's pretty crazy. And then to talk about kind of like how the Golden Knights, we talk now about supporting this kid and his family and the one that passed away not too long ago. I know you guys are doing a lot of stuff for the kid in St. Louis. But the Golden Knights were, I won't say it here, but like the stories that Nick tells are like unbelievable and how involved they were in the community when that happened. But yeah, I mean, geez, like you never promise tomorrow, man. You're never promised tomorrow, unfortunately. And try sometimes when you get into the grind of things and you're surviving just the day to day, we lose sight of how grateful we should be for just the air that we breathe, let alone all the other amazing things that we have in our life and people that we have in our life. And so, man, I think, I think this was a really cool episode. This was a really cool episode, obviously with the story with Nick and stuff. He's a great hockey guy too. They've done an incredible job there at UNLV with their program. Just perspective is a powerful thing. We say that a lot. Perspective is a powerful thing, isn't it?
It really is. And guys, especially all of our community members that get to listen to the 10 questions that we do with every guest now. I think that I'm going to submit.
Oh, yeah.
I think I'm going to submit that Nick had the best 10 questions that we've had since we started doing that. I think Pronger's probably 2. And I think that Nick overtook the top spot in my mind. I don't know about you, but I was like, wow.
We said that when we were doing the 10 questions with him. We were like, dude, like after question, I think 6 or 7, we were like, you're in the running for top spot for these 10 questions here. Like, let's go.
Yeah, I think he was liking it too because he texted me yesterday and he's joining my my GMBM online training team too. So pretty excited. Yeah, let's go, baby. So pretty excited to have him. And this guy, super passionate hockey guy, doing some really cool stuff. I think you guys are gonna really like this episode. This one's got a lot of nuggets and obviously the story about him overcoming being shot and all he cared about was coming back to his team. I mean, like that's the kind of coach you want to play for. I got shot. I'm close to dying, but when can I get back on the ice with the boys? That's what he's saying. You guys are going to really like this episode with Nick.
Yeah, it's also really good too in the fact that like ACHA college hockey is good hockey. It's really good hockey, and it's a great option for kids out there that maybe aren't Division I caliber, maybe don't want to play Division III, or maybe aren't Division III caliber. Most of the kids I would say that are playing ACHA could play at some Division III schools. But it's awesome. Like they fill up their barn. They are top in the country every year. There's some great programs around the country and literally like there's a spot for college hockey for so many different people. And they're actually going up in exhibition to play Denver, national champion, and Colorado College, who's one of the top teams in the country right now. They're going up to play them in some exhibition games in, I believe either the end of December or January, right around the new year. And so it's great hockey, and you'll be able to, for all the parents and kids that are out there that might be an option. He talks about it and we go through how good a hockey it is. And so really enlightening episode, great hockey guy, like you said. The 10 questions. So if you're not a part of our Hockey Think Tank community, get on it. We have over 160 people in there. Go to the community.thehockeythinktank.com. Or you can just go to the hockeythinktank.com and we have a community tab on there too. And it's been a lot of fun. I did a Tactics Tuesday. So every Tuesday I throw out some kind of whiteboard explanation or a drill or some type of structure. And I did, I got Barry Smith's practice plan from Barry Smith's a 7-time NHL winning coach. He's just the man. And he shot me over some drills, and I put him up in the community. And not everywhere can you get drills from a 7-time Stanley Cup winning coach who understands youth hockey. So we did some deep progressions and some forecheck progression type stuff. It was really cool. But go to community.thehockeythinktank.com today, and you'll be able to hear Nick Robone's 10 questions. They were
invaluable.
On par.
Can you imagine? I mean, it's a little different for you in Chicago growing up. Like hockey in Chicago was already massive. But like in St. Louis growing up, if somebody said you can have a 7-time Stanley Cup champion coach give you a bunch of stuff to do to help you get better at hockey, oh my God, I would like chomping at the bit. I would have been. And you guys get that in the community. Figure it out. Let's go. Join us. We're all getting better together.
Yep. Access to hop on a call with guys like Brandon Nerado. We got Bob Mancini coming up in a couple weeks.
Bobo,
one of the head guys at USA Hockey, to discuss things that are going on within USA Hockey. And so, yeah, we want to bring our community members, just some incredible hockey people, to be able to pick their brains and be able to actually converse with them. And we're really excited about it. We love it. We've loved gaining some relationships with people that are in there that are really active in there and stuff too. So, let's get over to Nick. After we thank a few people, first want to thank the guys at icehockeysystems.com. So I actually was on a call with them a little bit earlier today, and we're thinking about doing some more stuff together. They're just unbelievable people with an unbelievable product. So Ice Hockey Systems is an unbelievable coaching education website. They have thousands of drills, whiteboard explanations from high-end people, the ability to go in, draw your drills up, print them out, send them out to your players before practice. It's just an unbelievable value add. We have partnered with them to create an associations platform where you can get this for every single coach and every single parent in your organization with their access to our Hockey Think Tank Parent Survival Guide. And so go to icehockeysystems.com today, look up that associations tab, and get it, guys. Get it.
I want to say thank you to Train Heroic. Guys, Train Heroic is the amazing app that allows me to train so many teams, so many individuals. I have an in-season training program, and I don't talk about that a ton on the podcast, but I did a few episodes ago, and I've had multiple people listen to the podcast sign their players up to train in season. Videos of everything. You get access to me to ask questions about the workouts, about nutrition, about sleep, about anything, all through the app. It's unbelievable. It's the reason that I've been able to work with over 30,000 players just on this app in the last 4 years. Yeah, my whole mission with it is quality training at an extremely affordable price for all. So hit me up if you have any questions about that. Thank you to Train Heroic. Also want to say thank you to Cured Nutrition. You guys know every episode I talk about it. I actually just took 2 of the CBD gummies right before we got on the podcast because I'm feeling a little bit under the weather with all these kids I train, and everybody's sick around this time of year. But Cured Nutrition, been with them for over 2 years. Take CBD twice a day. Every day I take Rise in the morning and Zen at night. Sometimes Rise allows me to not have to take caffeine because of the CBD and the adaptogens and the mushrooms, not the magic kind, that get me going in the morning and allow me not to have to always have caffeine in the morning. So check out Cured Nutrition. You can go to curednutrition.com. Use my discount code GMBM.
Wow, you didn't do your .com.
Nah, I'm saving that for Wednesdays.
Okay, gotcha. Also want to thank the guys over at Helios Hockey. Helios is an unbelievable product. It is a sensor that you put into your shoulder pads, and it tracks you as you're going around the ice. Incredible product. So many people have reached out to me that they're like, dude, Helios has like kind of changed a lot of things for my kid. It's like a huge game changer in the fact that, number one, you get unbelievable kind of like feedback on your stride mechanics and also what they call a hustle score. Again, it lights up every time you're moving. So it tracks everything that you're doing. It's awesome. But also the huge value add too is the fact that it pairs right up with your video and you get instant feedback right after the game. So it pairs up with Live Barn or whatever you're using to shoot the game, and it cuts your shifts up for you. That's incredible. It's absolutely incredible. So
incredible.
Go to helioshockey.com, and if you use the coupon code ThinkTank, one word, you will get 20% off any pro annual or 24-month subscription. Helioshockey.com, that is. You can go to helioshockey.com/teams and get this for your entire team at a huge discount. So go there. Also, we want to thank the people over at Crossbar. Crossbar is an end-to-end software solution, absolute game changer that can help you with your operations of your youth hockey clubs. I know so many people that have moved over from Sports Engine, where they kind of had their back end on their website, over to Crossbar, and it's a literal game changer. It just helps streamline everything so quickly. It's so easy to use for all us non-tech people. And so what does it have? It has just a really nice web design. Like the actual website looks a lot cleaner. Registration for your season, or even for little things like drop-ins, or clinics or lessons, really easy to use. A club scheduler, a 5-star communication app to communicate with your families, financial tools and reporting, volunteer management, facility management, you name it, they got it. One-stop shop for all your operations for your youth hockey club. So go to crossbar.org to find out more today. Phenomenal stuff. And also, thank you guys. Thank you so much for all your support for what we do. We continue to grind this baby out. Jeffrey is learning very quickly that when you have a child, life is a little bit more of a grind. And so we continue to grind this baby out because, number one, we love to do it, but number two, from all the connections and relationships we've been able to make, whether it's just via DMs on social media, seeing people in person, emails, whatever, we really appreciate you guys. And so if you can, for us, anytime you can interact with our podcast on iTunes, Apple Podcasts, Google Play, Spotify, wherever, by giving us a rating, subscribing, setting a comment. It's huge for the algo. I think you called it a little bit earlier, the algorithm. And then anytime you can comment or like any of our social media posts, share that stuff as well. On your social media, it goes a long way to our mission, which is to make the hockey world a little bit more of a better place, add some positivity to it. And so we would appreciate any of that stuff. But thank you for your continued support. This is a phenomenal episode, absolutely phenomenal episode. We loved every minute of it. So without further ado, here we go with the assistant coach at UNLV, Nick Robone. There's nothing like seeing an NHL game live. The toughness, the speed, the excitement. Every time I get to go, I absolutely love it. I've been to a few games this year, and for the best place to get tickets, you have to visit Game Time. I've used the app to get not just tickets for NHL games, but for other things like concerts as well. It's really easy to use, especially for those not as astute with technology like myself. I've used it to actually check out all that's going on at the United Center, where the Blackhawks play in Chicago, for concerts and other things, and it's really awesome. You can search the app by team, by performer, or by venue, which is great. You can actually see the seat view, which is really cool from where you're going to be sitting, and they have curated deals for you to make things simple and easy for how you like to shop. Honestly, it's just so easy to use, and it also provides you with the opportunity to save money on tickets no matter when you buy them. So take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time Picks. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code THPN for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem with code THPN for $20 off. Download Game Time today. What time is it? Game time. The 24-25 NHL season still has that new car smell, and the action is heating up at DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NHL. It's super easy for first-timers to get started at DraftKings Sportsbook. Try betting on something simple like picking a team to win. And if you are new to DraftKings, listen up. New customer bet $5 to get $150 in bonus bets if your bet wins. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now and use code THPN. That's code THPN for new customers to get $150 in bonus bets if your bet wins when you bet just $5. Only on DraftKings. The crown is yours. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. In New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369. In Connecticut, help is available for problem gambling. Call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org. Please play responsibly. On behalf of Boot Hill Casino and Resort in Kansas, 21 plus age and eligibility varies by jurisdiction. Void in Ontario. Bet must win to receive reward. Bonus bets expire 168 hours after issuance. For additional terms and responsible gaming resources, see dkng.co. NHL.co/ice. Copyright NHL 2024. All rights reserved. We are so excited to have on this episode of the podcast out in beautiful Las Vegas. We got Nick Robone. Nick, how are we doing today?
I'm good. Thanks for having me.
I am pumped to talk to you. Got the chance to see you not too long ago. What was that, probably like 4 days ago, 5 days ago, maybe?
Yeah, pretty recently.
Yeah, as the UNLV Rebels were running roughshod in Chicago against some other ACHA teams, and guys got the chance to beat the number 2 team in the country, beat the number 14 team in the country. You guys are at number 5, number 6. Yeah, man, I'm excited to talk some hockey with you. A great hockey guy. I've talked hockey with you many times before. But before, let's introduce you a little bit to our listeners and tell us a little bit about growing up in Las Vegas. And this was pre Knights coming to town. What got you falling in love with this great game out there?
Yeah, pre-Knights, but there was always hockey here. Growing up, we had the IHL with the Las Vegas Thunder, actually, so very equivalent to like the AHL now. Some really good players, a lot of NHL guys that came through that team. So really fell in love going to those games. Kind of just started out like a lot of players out here playing in the streets, playing roller hockey, and then it kind of led into playing ice and getting competitive. And I think that the traditional path is a lot different for a lot of guys that are out west here in California, Nevada, and stuff like that. The hockey community was always really small but really close, and so we had some pretty good teams growing up, even with the smaller amount of players that we had out here. But yeah, through high school, kind of stepped away from the game a bit. Played football, wanted to get more involved with my high school. Wrestled, did a couple different things. Continued to kind of play some roller through college, and then really fell back in love with ice and the game. Right after college, I started coaching. I had a buddy that played at Nebraska Omaha, and he asked me to be an assistant coach for the midget AAA Las Vegas Storm here. So I did that for a year. And then, UNLV was looking for a couple coaches, and myself and Anthony Greener got the call, and we interviewed, and it's been kind of all downhill, and it's been a quick 9 years. So we're excited to continue to build the program, but it's been fun. It's been a fun 9 years, to say the least.
Well, I want to dive into ACHA hockey and your experience in there as a coach, because it is like, it's one of those things that doesn't get talked about enough. And Vex works with another really good program in Maryville down in St. Louis. And the hockey's really good. Like it's people that care, like it's competitive. It's really good. I want to get into that. Like more people need to talk about it for sure. But one thing that you talked about, and Vex, like, correct me if I'm wrong, but like, how many awesome hockey guys have we had on our podcast that like played roller growing up?
Yeah, I mean, a lot, especially in St. Louis. We've got a lot of, my clients or my buddies or whatever, and tons in St. Louis, tons in warmer areas, tons from the West Coast. And I didn't play it enough. And I look back and I thought I was doing the right thing by not playing it. And all my buddies that I played with and all my clients that played it growing up, they have unreal hands. All of them have unreal hands. It's something I look back and it's like, man, did I miss the boat on that one?
Your hands were nice, Vex.
You are hilarious. Thank you for saying that. I really appreciate that, but you're hilarious, bro. Yeah, thank you. Nobody's ever said that.
Dude, like, not enough kids are playing roller hockey nowadays. From a couple different instances. And Nick, like, I'd love to get your take on this too, especially being from out west there. But like, roller hockey is where you kind of learn how to be creative. It's not usually like a coach. You're out there just playing, and that's what we miss, is like the pond, and playing in the streets and playing unstructured. Every high level development person in this game says that's been a huge downfall, is like kids don't do that anymore. It's all about skills and skills and skills. And yeah, like there's certainly a place for that. And it's important to have skills, but like, man, does roller, and I played roller growing up too, like indoor in Chicago every spring for probably 5-6 years. And like, man, it's just fun. And you learn so much about just like being creative out doing that. So like, Nick, is that something that you found in playing competitively out west doing that?
Oh, for sure. I mean, it's really big, like obviously in Southern California. And, I played a lot like over the summers and pretty high level with it. There were guys that played in the American Hockey League. Pat Maroon was like playing in these tournaments, like guys like that. Like that were really good. Like St. Louis has had a ton of great teams growing up. But, I think that the biggest thing was like, there's so many odd man rushes in roller. That's where you score like 2-on-1s, 3-on-2s. And like, you really learn how to execute those. Sometimes I find like with guys that really haven't played it, when they get the opportunity and like they're getting inside the dots, like the decision-making isn't always the right one. So I think that like that was a big thing, like obviously protecting the puck and like patience and things like that. The, roller really taught that, but I would say like executing on the 2-on-1s and 3-on-2s was really big in roller. And that's where a lot of goals are scored.
Yeah. And it's 4-on-4, right? Roller.
Yeah. 4-on-4, no blue lines, no icing, so it's really just about puck possession. I think like the importance of winning faceoffs was really big. Consistently moving, the creativity was a big part of it for sure.
It was so much fun. Avex, I can't believe you didn't play roller.
Well, no, I played in 6th and 7th grade on like the best team in St. Louis, but I felt.
Oh, whoa, hold on.
Yeah, well, dude,
throw
if
that
he played
in
roller,
he
knows.
I played on the best team in St. Louis.
No, if he played roller, he knows. Like I played for the Tour Blast back then; they were unbelievable, and I got all the free gear. And as I got deeper into it, I felt like my skating on the ice, I was looping all the time instead of stopping and starting. And I wasn't great at stopping at roller, and I didn't put in the time to practice. And because I felt like when I'd go on the ice, I felt goofy skating. I was like, I'm done. I'm just going to focus on ice. But I played street hockey every single day. So like I didn't play roller, but I played street hockey with the boys in the neighborhood, literally religiously.
Yeah, totally different stride for sure.
It's almost like the baseball players in golf. Like they don't want to golf during the season because their swing, it goes like under as opposed to like, straight through. I've heard of that. So maybe
that's how I felt. But like, and I said that for a long time, but all my guys, like I think I said this on the last podcast, like my group of pros, they have a team called the Ripped Saints or something. Cause that was my old company name, was Ripped. And they play on Monday nights all summer long in a roller league. All my pro guys play together and they love it. And like, they're like, nah, like it's the benefit of what he's saying, like the patience, especially for like my couple guys who are like 3rd, 4th line meatheads in the AHL or whatever. Like, they're like, yeah, it's really good for me to work on my patience. It's really good to work on my puck possession. And the big thing is they have fun together in the summer. Like it's not the same as ice, and they have an absolute blast. They love it. And they all say it really helps their hands, like all of them. So it's pretty cool.
Nick, you probably got some slick mitts then, eh?
I don't know about that, but it's maybe better than the average men's league guy. So we'll say that.
I like it. Well, another thing I want to ask you is, you said you kind of got out of the game for a little bit and then you came back in and got the itch. And, now the job that you're doing at UNLV, you guys are doing a phenomenal job. Always in the top of the country, always threatening for a national championship. You were runners up last year. I'm wondering what it was that kind of got you back into it. And so many people like that I'm meeting, and now especially that I'm on the board of ACHA, like the Illinois arm of USA Hockey, like so many of the people that I speak with, they're kind of like 1st generation hockey people who their kid just kind of liked it because a friend liked it. And then they got into it and then they just caught the bug and they just absolutely fell in love with it. So like, what is it about the game that kind of brought you back to it? Was it the people? Was it the game? Was it the competition? Like, what was it that rekindled your fire a little bit to get back into start coaching again?
I would say definitely the competitiveness. Like I love competing. I compete like all the time whenever I can, I think so. For me, I saw this as an opportunity to, still take the game serious while also trying to, improve. It started out with youth hockey, obviously with the midgets. I wanted to really teach these kids, and I also really wanted to like learn the game more. So, not having played at necessarily high level, fortunately, there were guys here in Vegas like Gabe Gauthier and Micah Sanford, guys that like I just wanted to learn from, right? So Gabe obviously, won a couple national championships at Denver and, moved on to play pro hockey. So got to talk to Gabe every day about hockey, right? And then it kind of led into, okay, I want to continue to learn. So you start reaching out to other coaches, and I kind of came like really big into the X's and O's with it. But while I was doing that, it was also learning how to communicate with kids. I think that was one of the things that nobody ever teaches you how to do, but it's more or less learning it as you go. But every kid is going to be a little bit different. But I think I enjoyed kind of like building those relationships. And then moving into college, that's when it became a little bit better, because I think able to relate a little bit more with them. And not to mention, when I first started coaching UNLV, I was 24, and there were guys on the team that were like 25, 26. So it's kind of like, it was interesting when you had guys that were older than you. But yeah, I think that's what really drove me, was the competitive nature, building the relationships. And then, just like I said, I really, really enjoyed the X's and O's with it. I love the pre-scout other teams and just trying to find their tendencies. And then, you're coaching different ways to beat that. And then you kind of see it happen during the game and you're like, dang, the hard work kind of paid off. So long story short on that, I would say that those are the things that kind of drove me back to it.
Nice. I want to dovetail a little bit to what you said, because my first year as a coach was a grad assistant at Miami of Ohio, and I was probably 24, if that, maybe even 23, maybe 24. Yeah. And like, it was a little different because I wasn't in charge of like lines and ice time, but like, it was really nice as somebody, so closely removed to being in their shoes, that I can relate to them on that level. And it was a great learning experience for me as a young coach, to talk to them more as peers really than coach player. And you learn a lot when you have those kinds of interactions with the guys. And then like, I feel like I went from that, really heavily, relationship based on my role, based on being a grad assistant, based on my age and things like that, to then getting my first paid job. I kind of changed a little bit. And I was focusing a little bit more on the quote unquote coaching, the X's and O's and this and that. And I kind of lost a little bit of my, let's call it, humanness as a coach with the players. And then I always talk about on the podcast that like I'm very grateful for a group of leaders that we had my first year, who kind of came into my office and were like, hey, appreciate what you're trying to do with this stuff, but like, hey, we like the relationship Toph way better, and and then I had to change as a coach, and get back to the roots of what it was, because I was still a young coach anyway, with my first paid job at Cornell. But like, yeah, the relationship side of it, that's such an interesting balance that we're always having to balance, is the relationship side versus the preparation hockey side. And I still feel like the people who err more towards the relationship side typically end up doing a better job as coaches. So what would you kind of say to that, Nick, in your kind of growth and maturation as a coach? You're in year 9 now with UNLV. I'm sure you've done some things when you look back on, you're like, I can't believe I did that. And then looking back on some other things, that, hey, I made a great impact on this kid's life or this team or whatever. What are your thoughts on that kind of dichotomy there?
I think you kind of hit the nail on the head with one thing, was, the relationships obviously are the most important thing. And for me, I'm still learning that. I think that it's a consistent thing that you got to continue to practice. And, whether you're touching base with guys at, on practice, or maybe it's at the airport when you're traveling, and just finding different times that you can really connect with certain players. Because, you don't get to do it every day. There's, 30 guys on the team. So how do you kind of pick and choose your moments? And it can't just be at the rink. But for me, being an X's and O's guy, like, I had to kind of take a step back from it. Sometimes I was giving these guys like way too much information that they came to me like, coach, just, let me play. And I'm just like, you know what? Like, they're right. I need to kind of take a step back with it. I can't control everything. I think that as a coach, you do as much as you can with video and different things that you're going to kind of relay and how you want to get your message to them. But at the same time, like, once they drop the puck, like, I don't want to say your job is done. Obviously there's different things during the game that you're going to do as a coach. Maybe you're matching lines or whatnot, but in all reality, like, you got to just let them play. I mean, their hockey instincts will take over. The preparation at practice will take over. And like, I really kind of had to learn that. Really wanted to be so hands-on, but at the same time, they're still human beings, and we got to let them just play the game.
And the game is such a good teacher too. Like I did the same thing in the gym when I first started. I was so like analytical of everything and trying to fix everything on everybody. And then it's like, how am I supposed to remember 8,000 things you just told me? And I'm like, yeah, you're right. Like you learn as you do it more. You watch a little video, you show them, like that's really cool. I think that goes for any coaching industry, honestly. Like it doesn't matter what it is. And if you get them to buy in and you connect before you correct, who said that again, Toph?
Jason Guerrero.
Jason Guerrero said that a few episodes ago. If you connect before you correct, then when you do correct, they're going to take it, in the right way, knowing that you care, and they're going to be more apt to try whatever it is that you're trying to correct them with. And I think that they're going to run with it sooner, better, whatever, pay more attention instead of like overanalyzing, trying to we used to call it a Western, we used to say like our coach would try to, during games, he thought he had like an Xbox controller on the bench, like trying to yell for us what to do. And like, coach, you don't got the controller, like let us do our thing. And then we'll figure it out as we go here,
Right. I think I would sit there and like yell out from the bench, not like degrading anybody. I'd be like, wheel. I'm just like, dude, they can't hear you. Like, what are you doing? Why am I leaving the rink every night with my voice pretty much gone? So that was a big kind of wake up call for me. I think too, just to touch on it a little bit with the coaching staff, like Anthony, the head coach, like he's unbelievable at letting myself and the other assistants just do our job. Like he's very hands off. He allows us to be like who we are as people. And he's really good with the relationship side of things. So like when you have that, a guy maybe that's a little more X's and O's like myself, a guy that's a little bit more relationship, and one that's in the middle, I think that really helps out too. When you have different kind of coaching styles, but everybody's on the same page.
Absolutely love it. Absolutely. It's funny we're talking about this. Like, I feel like almost every year as a college coach, at some point, there was a discussion in the coach's room about how much information we're giving the players. Are we giving them too much? Is it paralysis by analysis? Are we not giving them enough? We're not detailed enough in our structure. Do we do more video? Do we do less video? Should we do more individual video? Or should we do more team video? Like those kinds of things are like such an important part, because like you have to let them play. Right? Like they have to be instinctive out there. Hockey's a fast game. We want them to be creative, but at the same time, we got our pre-scout at the college level anyway, and we got to understand what the other team is doing, and we got to understand their weaknesses a little bit and how we can potentially take advantage of some of that, some things that they do. And so, yeah, it was always a discussion. I don't know if you guys had that, or Vex, even you as a player going through and having played up, into the AHL, NHL preseason in Europe and stuff. Like, did you have coaches, or did you have a certain kind of way of thinking about, hey, like this is information overload here, pal. Like, can I play? Like, let me play. Versus like, we're not freaking detailed enough. Like, you got to coach us a little bit more. I've seen coaches on both ends of the spectrum.
Yeah, I mean, I think especially in pro hockey, all that matters is winning. So if whatever you're doing to start the year is working and you're winning, you kind of keep going with it, and then all of a sudden you start to lose a couple games, and it's like, okay, let's reevaluate which way can we move that teeter-totter to free flowing, let the guys kind of do what they want to do, versus let's get everybody on the same page with some systems or pre-scouts, or, this team likes to do this and that. And so again, in pro hockey, I think it's a little different, and probably college too, because as a coach, you're getting paid to do the job and the university wants you to win. So it's a little bit different than amateur hockey, but if you're winning, winning solves everything, they say in pro hockey, even though it's really not true. But if you're crushing, then you're going to probably not change things if it's not broken.
Yeah. Speaking of winning, your Blues just got a new coach.
Yeah.
Are people pretty pumped down there for Monty?
I mean, I think so. And 5-year deal too, because he was the assistant coach here.
He was,
I think, at the end of the season for a little bit. Man, I don't want to jinx it, man, but I'm like, I hope he brings Freddie to St. Louis. That would be so sick.
Oh yeah, he coached him in Boston. That's true.
For a couple of years, loved him. Freddie had 2 unbelievable years the last 2 years before this year. So hopefully, and I think he's unrestricted at the end of this year. So
hello,
that'd be dope.
Laying the seeds here, Vex. I like it.
Yeah, let's go. Come on, baby.
Putting in the universe.
Well, Nick, next what I want to get to is just the ACHA and the level that you're coaching at. And like I said earlier, it's a phenomenal level of hockey that not as many people know about as I think they should. And so can you talk to our listeners a little bit about what the ACHA is, the level of hockey, and just kind of your experience having coached there now for 9 years?
It's really kind of taken off here in the last 4 or 5 years. And I think it's really only going to get better, especially now with the whole CHL ruling and, the NCAA stuff like that. But I think that the big thing that I always stress to kids that are coming out of juniors is, if you still love the game, there's always going to be an opportunity for you to play at the college level, regardless of the division that it's in, right? So there's opportunities for you. And I think that's where the ACHA comes in. You'll have, tier 3 junior guys or whatever that maybe they're not NCAA D3 or even top end ACHA D1, but you do have the Division 2, the Division 3 level, and some really great schools that have programs and a lot of unbelievable atmospheres. We don't necessarily get to play Kentucky or some of the schools down south, but I look at some of these videos. I mean, like North Carolina and NC State had 11,000 people at an outdoor game or something like that. So pretty incredible to see. But the talent is getting, extremely good. I mean, I have players that are playing junior hockey, or maybe they grew up playing here in Vegas. They're like, hey, I want to play for UNLV. And I kind of have to break it to them. I'm like, hey, listen, I need you to play at this type of level to get to our level. It's not like you're just coming in and playing club, quote unquote, hockey anymore. Like a lot of our guys have played in the North American League division, tier 2 juniors. We have 2 NCAA Division 1 transfers. So like the talent level is really good. And these guys take it very serious. They want a first-class college hockey experience. And that's what, we want to give them. But I would say, the 10, 15, 20 teams at ACHA D1, the talent is really good. There's a lot of depth there. And I think there's a lot of teams in our league at that level that can compete with NCAA, D3 teams. So I think like a lot of people are taking that a lot more serious in terms of how to get to our level, and the type of athlete that we're bringing in is it's really taken off for sure. And like I said, it's really only going to get better.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen that in my few years with Maryville. I think this is it's either my 4th or my 5th year with them. And man, like every year, the level of talent, the level of dedication, the level of hockey players that the coach is bringing in, it is wild, the difference from year 1 until this year. Like even just like in the gym, the guys' bodies, like how they take care of themselves. Like it has been such a really, really cool progression to see. First year that I was working with them, and they were also a new program too, so maybe that had to do with it. But it wasn't that higher level caliber of player. And now it's like, man, like a lot of these guys could play D3. There's a few guys who there's at least 2 guys that I know of on Maryville that could probably play D1 as a walk-on. I know one of them was my client in the summer, and he was talking to a bunch of teams. He just couldn't afford to go to the schools. So he decided on Maryville, and he's doing really well. But I mean, the level of play be good. I'm sure your team, Maryville, some of these really, really good teams year over year, I mean, they treat it like a legitimate program. And when we were coming up, it didn't seem like that was that level. It was that kind of, professionalism, quote unquote. And now it is awesome to see. Like it's really, really cool. They're practicing like 5 days a week. They work out 4 days a week. They have nice travel. Team gear, everything. Like it's really awesome to see.
Yeah, it is. And like I said, when I say like first class college hockey experience, like we take it like we want to run our program as close to any NCAA team as possible, and I think you're seeing more exhibition games now with ACHA Division 1 teams and the NCAA Division 1 teams. Like for us, we're very fortunate. Got to play Lindenwood early this year. Played a pretty tight game the second night, 3-3 going into the third. So, you're proud of that, and you get the opportunity to play Colorado College and Denver and stuff like that. So, it's a different route than the NCAA D3 perspective with it. But at the same time, I wouldn't say that it's that big of a drop off at all. I think, I have a lot of players when they're looking at making the decision to play ACHA D1 or maybe D3, you're really looking at everything. It's not just the hockey, right? It's the schooling. What do we offer academically? What's the environment like? Fortunately for us being in Las Vegas, it's 60 and sunny in the winter times. You can't shovel sunshine. So our guys, they obviously love that. And we got a great place for them to live right off the strip there. And UNLV is a phenomenal school academically. It's, it's hard to beat. And then obviously from a financial standpoint, you take all those things into consideration and leave the guys to make their decision from there. But I can say if they come out here and make a trip for recruitment, like 9 times out of 10, they want to stay. So.
I can attest to that. I was there earlier this year, and Nick was showing me kind of where the guys live and just the little area and stuff. And I was there on swag day too. So the day that I worked with you guys, it was swag day. So the boys were getting all their, and it was Christmas came early, man. Like you guys got some nice stuff for the boys. It's interesting, right? Like you think of, like Penn State, right? Penn State for a long time was one of the top ACHA Division I programs. Boom. Now they're D1 and there was a grace period coming through and now like they're a great D1 program and started off their first D1 years with a lot of guys that were playing at the level that you're coaching at right now. And they were doing fine. They were doing just fine. Same thing with Arizona State. I think Arizona State, when they went D1, what was it like maybe 3 or 4 years later, they made the tournament, something. It wasn't that long a time, and they were doing it with a lot of obviously people coming in from juniors, but there were some kids that they had on their club program, their D1 club program that were a part of that team. You guys have the opportunity you're going to play against Denver and CC later this year, which I think is awesome. Talk about getting into the fire, playing against the national champions from last year, number 1 team in the country right now. But like, yeah, the hockey's really, really good. Obviously I love the quote. You can't, what is it? You can't shovel sunshine.
That's right.
That was pretty good too. But like, yeah. And there is a place for everybody to play college hockey, at your level, at the Division I level, it's very serious and people take it seriously. You guys as a coaching staff take it seriously. Practices, pre-scouts, travel, like everything, you guys treat it professionally, like a Division I program. I know that from seeing it. And then, like Michael Wool, right? Like he's playing down in Florida and killing it down there. He's the guy that built both Vex and I's website. I can't remember exactly the university that he plays for.
SU or South Harmon Institute of Technology.
If you have not seen the movie Accepted, you will have no idea what that means. But great movie. But like he's playing down there and he's just kind of playing for fun, like he just,
and the school thinks he is an absolute legend. They think he's the NHL superstar. Absolutely love him. They pack the rink. He scores a hat trick every game. It's and it's not ACHA. It's something else. I believe it's
AAU maybe.
Yeah. Like it's. I mean, I've watched the highlights. He's just crushing everybody out there.
Nobody does selling better than Shopify. Shopify is the home of the #1 checkout on the planet. And the not so secret with Shop Pay that boosts conversions up to 50%, meaning way less carts go abandoned and way more sales going through. So if you're into growing your business, your commerce platform better be ready to sell wherever your customers are scrolling or strolling. On the web, in your store, in their feed, and everywhere in between. Businesses that sell more, sell on Shopify. Upgrade your business and get the same checkout that Skims uses. Sign up for your $1 per month trial period for 3 months at shopify.com/Westwood1, all lowercase. Go to shopify.com/Westwood1 to upgrade your selling today. Shopify.com/Westwood1.
I want to ask you, is your guys' home record just unbelievable? Do teams come to you? Because like when I played in the AHL, like Norfolk, it was so hard to win there because when you were going there, guys were going out every night. You're there for like 4 nights. You're getting 2 practice days in. You got 2 games. Maybe sometimes you're there 5 nights. You got a day in between. Everybody's going out because it's, the beach town and like it was unbelievable. Is your guys' home record just nasty? Like, is that a really big benefit to you guys?
Yes. Our home record's pretty good.
I would think so.
It's kind of multiple things. Like hockey has exploded here. So obviously our fan base has tripled in the last 9 years. I mean, we don't have enough seating at City National Arena where the Vegas Golden Knights practice. And, we have our locker room and everything there set up to really fit everybody. Like it's sold out every single night. And it's a loud building. It's a hard place to play. And, you get to do some fun stuff in the ACHA. Like we'll have a midnight game twice a year. So we recently played our midnight game a couple weeks back and it's a tough building, and we do Greek night on that night too. So they're out there like tailgating in the parking lot starting at like 8:00. And then all of a sudden, it's like 11:40, no one's in the stands. And then like next thing you know, there's 700, 800 people just jammed in there and like going nuts. And it's a hard building to win in. But yeah, I think that there's multiple things. There's that. And then, I don't know what these guys do Friday after a game. And quite frankly, like as long as our guys are ready to go, we're pretty confident that they're doing all the right things to be able to go Saturday. But the opposing team, like, hey, that's on the coaches and those guys.
You guys should have like a table set up with like, bottle girls and clubs and restaurants. Hey, check out this place. Check out this place after the first game every night. Little gamesmanship there.
Right. I mean, I've heard coaches like they take some of their players' IDs, some of them, and then like, next thing you know, like there's 3 guys that were healthy then Saturday night, and we're just like, well, wonder what happened last night, but we'll probably take a gander. So yeah, that's awesome. It's definitely an advantage.
Well, let's talk about the boom of hockey in Vegas there, because obviously with the Golden Knights coming in and the success that they had in the first year, I mean, it just it's exploded, like you said. Youth hockey's, I would imagine the numbers have gone up quite substantially as well. So like, what has the Golden Knights, coming in and the success that they've had, Stanley Cup Finals first year, a couple of years ago, winning the whole thing. How has that changed the landscape?
Yeah, so I sat on the board for the Nevada Amateur Hockey Association back in like 2017. So I saw what the numbers were, but it's grown 120%, I believe, since 2017.
Wow.
We used to have like 500 mites, and now there's something like 4,000 mites, like something crazy. Like it's insane. So you really like there's not enough. There's not enough ice here to go around right now. And I think it's a great problem to have, obviously, but it's been really cool to see. It's been great for our program to get involved with the youth. We do a lot of camps. We do a lot of clinics. We do something where we invite every single youth team to one of our games, and they all get in free. Coaching staff gets in free, and then discounted tickets to their families. And that's every house league team, travel team, everything. So we want to be involved. We do like a really fun skate with the Rebels beginning of the year where it's totally free. We provide like a bunch of different things for the kids to get signed and autographed by our guys. And, are any of our guys going to make the NHL? No. But at the same time, like, you get a 7-8-year-old kid that comes in and gets to watch us play up close. And, these guys are, they're idols to these kids. So fortunately for us, we have that opportunity to connect with a lot of these kids, and really like the Vegas Golden Knights have just done a tremendous job in terms of getting out with the grassroots things, getting to schools, getting in the community. They're everywhere. Like you can't turn around like a corner without seeing a Knights logo here. Like they are it in town, even with the Raiders.
I love that so much. It's so cool to see hockey expanding to some of these Western cities and it just kind of exploding like that. It is interesting though. Like, and actually I'll get your take on this because I threw a tweet out there, or a post on all my social media platforms last week on just the cost of hockey. And I like the tweet, it was something to the effect of like, hey, can you legitimately play tier 1 hockey for under 20 grand now? And like pretty much every single person that reached back out to me was like, no, not a chance. and especially for these non-traditional markets, like in Vegas, like LA, teams in California, Arizona, Dallas, Colorado that feel the need to travel, every other weekend to get good competition. And, being involved in the Vegas youth hockey market a little bit, seeing how that's grown, seeing how it's evolved and everything. How has the Vegas youth hockey kind of molded into what it is today? What would you say kind of like the culture of the youth hockey is there?
I think they've done a really good job of growing the game between the Vegas Golden Knights. You have the Las Vegas Storm, which is the other team out here. However, I think I personally would love to see them work together a little bit more. Everybody has a mite team. There's another organization actually that deals mostly with kind of A-level players, but they have like a mite team. I think I'd love to see them kind of play a little bit more inner city. But at the same time, like, I understand everybody's trying to grow their brand, and I hope that we can see it evolve into something where they're not having to travel to California and Arizona every weekend. I think that there is an opportunity here with hockey being as young as it is, quote unquote, to kind of develop another organization or two to have that, to have those teams where everybody's just, able to kind of bounce from rink to rink and not, spend thousands of dollars going to these other places. Because I do think that you have the numbers here. It's just a matter of kind of letting some of the egos go to allow more organizations to blossom.
You mean Vex is giving you a golf clap? You mean that it's crazy how many people in youth hockey don't want to work together when it would be much more beneficial for people and everybody to actually work together? Is that I don't know. That's a weird concept. Just kind of
100%.
Kind of crazy.
Yeah. Like, I love listening to you guys' show, and, I've heard a lot of guests talk about, 9U AAA and stuff like that. And it's just like, it's crazy to me. Fortunately I know a lot of these parents and, where they're telling me they're going every weekend and what they're doing. I'm just like, if you split up all the kids in town and just had them play against each other, the development would probably be just as good. I think I firmly believe that. I don't really think that AAA hockey should really be a thing until probably Pee Wees, personally.
Amen, man. Yeah, it's crazy. And I sent a note out there again, like, hey, like if you're willing, like, and it'll be confidential, how much are you paying for tier 1 hockey? And it is horrifying. Absolutely freaking horrifying. Everybody that has reached out to me, like pretty much every single one. There's a couple that were like, we just do it right here and we keep it local and blah, blah, blah. And those are typically good programs too, if you think about it. But like, man, it is absolutely nuts. And the non-traditional markets get hit the most, and it's travel. Like the travel is absolutely insane. Too many games, way too much time on the road, way too much time missing school. It's an unfortunate byproduct of the professionalization of youth sports, not just youth hockey, but man, worked like that's something I would love to see here too. Like people just work together, like stop trying to like be the best crazy. Like, again, there's some obviously merit to like wanting to be the best program, right? And like doing things internally to be the best program, but not at the expense of like putting other programs down and not working together and making like hockey in the city as a whole better. Like to me, those are two very different things. Be the best internally with what you do and the coaches that you hire and the amount of practice time that you can provide and keeping the costs down. Like don't try to be the best by bringing some other people down or creating, an environment where it's cutthroat and it's all about the money or it's all about the status and the ego. There's way too much of that, man.
And the kids, man, like when I was a freshman, and obviously it was a little different because really there was barely anybody that would come to St. Louis to play us. Like Madison Capitals or whatever their AAA team was back in the day, they used to come to play us and maybe one more team. But other than that, we were out of town every single weekend. And every year from 6th grade to 9th grade before I left home, I was getting letters from the principal like, Jeff's in danger because he's missing so many days of school. Like, is everything okay? And my mom's like, yeah, he just plays hockey. And like, luckily, like school was relatively easy for me. But for some of my teammates, they had a really hard time. And then that also, that would have affected them possibly getting a scholarship, whether in hockey or for academics or anything, because they were missing so much school. And it's like, man, they're kids, they're kids. Like what is best for them? Is it really missing this much school and then parents having to shell out so much effing money to go to another weekend of games out of town, another tournament, when they could just inter-squad scrimmage, get more workouts in, better practices, like play against a team in town again. I just think there's so many reasons that we should be reducing the games or at least the out of town games. I don't know.
Totes my goats, man. Totes my goats. Well, Nick, I want to transition to something a little bit heavier here. And obviously it's a big part of, the hockey landscape and kind of like, I would say the boom, with what kind of happened in Vegas from an unfortunate standpoint. And then Vegas, the team, kind of being there for the community in their first year. And that was a shooting in, outside of the hotel. What was the concert again that, who was the guy that was it? Aldine?
It was Route 91, so it was like a country festival, but Jason Aldean was one of the headliners, and he was the one that was on stage when kind of all went down.
Gotcha. So, unfortunately, you were one of the people who got shot in that, and I've read a couple articles and things like that. I wanted to ask you about that and kind of what you learned, because we've all been through some tough stuff. You almost lost your life though. And how that, when we go through the tough stuff, we talk about resilience all the time on the podcast, and how when you're at your lowest, you kind of find out who you are, and you find out who's important to you. And it just gives you a whole crazy perspective. And so I wanted to ask you, having gone through that, what are some things that you learned? What are some things that kind of put life into perspective for you as you were fighting for your life there after getting shot at that festival? And then, also wanted to ask you too, on top of that, the Golden Knights, and just in their first year in Vegas, it seemed like they were always at the hospitals, and they were kind of around and became a part of the community, and really helped to uplift with the Vegas Strong and everything like that, just kind of the impact that they had. So, first part of the question, I guess, was like, what did you what was your perspective just going through that? It must have been insane.
Well, first of all, I have to give so much credit to the first responders and all of those people that were there that night. I mean, my brother's he's a captain with the fire department at the time. He was a paramedic EMT, and I'm really lucky that he was there. Obviously, hit me just below the shoulder, right in the upper chest area. So without my brother there, I don't know what happens to me. So fortunately, he was able to kind of help me out, and he saved a lot of lives that night. So I mean, it was for me, when it first happens, things start running through your mind, right? You see a little blood coming out of your mouth. You're like, I've seen how this winds up for people in the movies, and it's not well. But I think having played sports growing up, all of a sudden, when it first happened, my mind kind of just corrected and was like, nope, all right, you're going to get through this, but you're not going to get through it by panicking. You got to make sure that we're breathing slow. We're going to find safety. We'll get out of here. And I had my brother and some buddies there that helped me get out. So, I mean, that was kind of the first step. And then the next step was all right, get into the hospital, and kind of had to go under right away. And when you do that, it's you feel bad because there were so many people that were injured. But when you're at the hospital, these doctors, they're just doing such an incredible job. These guys were seeing everyone that they could. And so first responders, the doctors, everybody there that night, just so blessed to be able to kind of, be with the people that were there. But yeah, I think when you look at the Golden Knights and kind of how they were in the community immediately after, I mean, they were in the hospital. I was in the hospital for 10 days. I mean, they were in the hospital probably 2 or 3 of those days with all the people that were there. Because it wasn't just the people that were originally affected, that were maybe injured, but it was so many people that were going through it mentally. It was really tough on them. There were people that had survivor's guilt and whatnot. And so just to see the Golden Knights there, and some of the other people within the community that have pretty high status, for instance, Jason Aldean came back to the hospital. He's not just talking to me, he's talking to people in the waiting room. He's talking to my family. The Golden Knights are doing the same thing. So for them, it was a special year. And I think that no matter how the Vegas Golden Knights do here from a record standpoint, they're always going to be people's number one. People never forget that. Vegas is a very blue collar, hardworking town. And I think that when you see something like a professional sports team coming out and supporting that, people just go above and beyond to want to support them. And then obviously they had a magical year, right? They're winning just crazy. No one could predict this. They're predicted to finish last in the NHL. And then all of a sudden, not only did they, finish first in the Pacific, they make it all the way to the Stanley Cup final. So from my perspective with it, it was really cool just to see the resiliency of not only the people affected, but the entire city. Being born and raised here, I have a lot of pride in being from here. And then for me, I just never wanted to be a victim. I always wanted to see this as an opportunity to, how do I come out of this and really give back now? Okay, everybody gave back to me. I had a ton of people that helped me out. So now how do I give back? And I think that that's where for me, I wanted to do as much as I could with youth hockey and getting out and just doing what I knew, right? And that was hockey. I knew that was my passion. So now I'm taking that and trying to move on. But now it's just that message that I had from that. I kind of reiterate to my players, we're never victims. We're that's never going to be our thing. No excuses ever. And I think that having that ownership kind of helped me get through it. But I was very fortunate. I had a lot of good people in my corner throughout the whole process.
That is amazing.
Vex, you guys just became best friends.
I mean, well, also right when you said that, if you said to your team in the locker room and I'm sitting in there, hey guys, I got shot. I almost died. I didn't give up. I don't believe in excuses. What can your players possibly say back to that? You cannot give any excuse to coach at all. Like, man, talk about connecting. Like we were talking about at the beginning of the show about the episode, man, your players got to buy into you so hard. I mean, wow, what a story, bro. That is wild.
Well, I love the game so much. I love my team so much. Like all I wanted to do was get back. Like, I'm sitting in the hospital, like Anthony Greener, the other coach, is coming in. He's like, take your time. I'm like, I don't know. Like, give me like a week. Like, I'll be all right. He's like, a week? What are you talking about? And I'm like, no, I'll be good. I'll be good. Like, I just like it I hate like being stuck like that. You really felt stuck. But at the same time, I had to realize like, okay, listen, like, let's take care of business in the hospital. I can help coach in different ways. But like I said, like, coming back into the locker room, I told the guys, I'm like, man, I never thought I'd have to get shot to get you guys on ESPN, but they got a little chuckle out of that or whatever. But then moving into the rest of the year, it's just like, I was just super proud and happy. Like you realize how lucky you are to be able to do the things that you like to do, because there was a time there where half a second you're like, I don't know if it's going to be if it's in the cards for me.
Crazy, man. Absolutely crazy. Yeah. And there's a couple of things that you said there that I really want to kind of hammer home on. And Vex, you talk about this a lot. Like if you're a good hockey dude, like, or woman, like if you're a good hockey person, you've played at a higher level and you're back in your town, get involved. Please get involved. Like we need more good hockey people down home, down to earth, want to give back to this game solely for the fact that like this game gave us so much. And I feel like there's a lot, and I shouldn't say I feel like, I know that there's a lot of really good hockey people that don't want to get into youth hockey because of the culture that's created in youth hockey right now. They're like, I don't want it that serious, or I don't want to be yelled at by parents, or I don't want to get into this meat grinder of, the crazy professional whatever of youth hockey. And so like the only way to combat that is to get more good hockey people involved. And so Vex, like you talk about it all the time, like if you're a pro player or, played in college or, even if you're just passionate about, like, please like volunteer your time, like get involved with your youth hockey organization. You might be somebody that, doesn't really want to do it, but hey, I want to give back a little bit. And all of a sudden, just like you, Nick, like you get the itch. And you're like, man, like I love being in the rink again. And I want to continue to do this. And it might be a passion project for you, or potentially a full-time job for you as a hockey director. Or you can go just, on the weekend and help out with little skills clinics or whatever. But like, I love what you said, Nick, just like getting back, and you're so passionate about, number one, hockey, but you're also so passionate about the city that you grew up in that gave you this experience and gave you this passion for the game, and you wanting to give back to it. Like we need more people like that involved in our sport. Big time. Vex, what are your thoughts there?
It's funny you say this, because I was talking to one of my clients for a long time. He wound up getting a career-ending injury that actually Michael Wall hit him. They were playing in the North American Hockey League, and just a weird hit, and his shoulder kind of got pinched in his neck, and he lost all ability to move his arm. Luckily, it came back over the course of like 8 months. Had a really freaky like nerve injury thing. So he wound up stopping playing, and he's at Denver just going to school now. And he's home for Thanksgiving break. I got him in the gym. I'm like, how you been? What's going on? He's like, oh man, it's wild. Like I took a coaching job where I'm coaching in Denver, like kind of like a weekly hockey camp thing. And the first day, one of the kids said, hey coach, how do I do this? And he was like, it was so weird, but it was also so cool. And I was teaching these young players, and he's only probably 21 years old, same age as Wally. And he's like, it was really cool, like teaching these kids things. But I don't know how I feel about being called coach yet, but it was just so awesome to hear that, because I went through that. We all went through that. We all went through that period where we just went there to give back, and all of a sudden, like, you're hooked. You see their faces when you can teach them something, or, something clicks in their eyes or their brain, and they do something. Oh, wow, that really worked. And, it's so cool. And all three of us, are working in hockey in our hometown, which I think is even cooler. Like it sounds like, you have great pride in Las Vegas, and I know Toph does in Chicago and I do in St. Louis. And so it's even more, it's just got a little more nest to it when you're helping the place that, got you to where you are in life now and molded you as a person.
Yeah, for sure. And I think what's cool is now, like, I'm seeing players from our program coaching youth hockey here. And these are guys that actually don't even have any relation to Las Vegas other than you were recruited to play hockey here. But they like it here so much that now they're staying here. They're building a foundation here, and now they're out there coaching these mites and squirts teams and doing skills sessions and stuff like that. I love to see that. I'm super proud of those guys.
So that's cool. Really cool. Yeah. So cool. And they're not shoveling sunshine at the end of the day.
That's right. That's right.
Easy place to fall in love with. And it is interesting. Like, I always thought of Vegas as this like kind of like highfalutin town, the strip and everything like that. But getting the chance to come out there and work with you guys and kind of seeing the town from a little bit of a different perspective, you're right. Like, it is a special place. And that's why so many guys like want to play there. They're signing these Golden Knights are signing these huge tickets, right? Like, cause that's the place where they want to raise their families. It probably on the outskirts of Vegas, outside of the strip, out, like maybe not the terrain, but like these Canadian guys, it's kind of like a small community within, this desert town. And there's a strip right there that just so happens to be there that everybody talks about. But like, it really is like a blue collar, awesome people town outside of the strip, isn't it?
It is. And, you kind of hit the nail on the head. Like, there's pockets here, Summerlin and kind of Henderson. And really even people kind of have pride within those communities of where they're from. But my parents, like, my dad, he grew up working in the industry and he wound up owning a casino for a little while and got out of it. And now he's working in hospitality still. And my mom was a waitress growing up for 35 years. So like, I'm very fortunate to be able to come from family that, really embodies hard work and waking up every day and getting to work and doing the right thing. Like, that's kind of how we just grew up. I could tell you probably we'd go to the strip maybe like twice a year. So the strip was never really a thing. It was always kind of, hockey and doing everything that any normal kid would do.
And yeah, it's just such a good city. Honestly, besides St. Louis, Vegas is my favorite city in all of the US. No doubt. If I could go there for every single vacation, I would. Even now that I have a daughter, like, I would still, because you can do everything. You got shows, you got the best restaurants in the world with like world-class chefs. And then, like you said, you got all these pockets that are outside the strip that people like don't know about, and no taxes. Let's go. That's the reason all the hockey players live there.
Yeah. That's a big thing.
That doesn't hurt. Well, Nick, thanks so much for your time here today. We're going to keep you for a couple more minutes and do a 10 questions that are going to be housed in our Hockey Think Tank community. If you're not a part of it yet, get a part of it. We just had actually an unbelievable call with our community and Nolan Graham. So Nolan, one of the most inspiring dudes that we know, was a college hockey coach for a long time before, unfortunately, he got hit by a car and had to retire from coaching, and now he had to move back home. But he's such an inspiring guy, still a great hockey guy, and had a great conversation with him in our community. Brandon Naurato, head coach at Michigan, he was our first guest, and then Nolan was just with us. So this 10 questions is going to be housed on that community. And so, Nick, thanks so much for your time here today. Really awesome to talk about hockey in Vegas, talk about the ACHA and your journey. And, again, for all the kids out there, like, look into the ACHA, especially if you're 15, 16, 17 years old, 18 years old, looking at juniors and want to play college hockey. It's a great freaking option. And so, Nick, thanks for your time today.
Thanks for having me.
If you like the show, please take a moment to rate, review, and subscribe. It really does help the show to grow. Thank you for listening.